Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I thought you might be interested in seeing, although it will be after the fact by the time you see this, how I packed and prepared and decided what to take. Oh my goodness, I've got a cascade happening here. How I decided what to take along on our 1 week long Alaskan cruise. Now, I've been doing a lot of slow stitching lately. The project I thought I was going to be taking was the turquoise and blue one, but I made quite a bit of progress on that. So I will. So then I started something different. So this will look, initially, will look like a bit of a dog's breakfast, but hopefully by the time I've shown you and talked you through my thinking process, I'll know exactly what I should use. Now, I remember someone at a garage sale giving me this bag. I couldn't for the life of me figure out why it had these two eyelets in it, but apparently the lady said that it was for, like, if you're knitting or crocheting, I guess you have the skein, the ball in here, and then the thread just comes out there and you can kind of contain it. So I thought this was a possibility. It's a pretty good size as well. However, I think I have more stuff than will fit in here. So then what I did was this morning I looked through my a tote bag, or a couple of tote bags, full of little pouches, fabric, little, I don't know what you even call this, looking for a couple of different options. So I'll tell you what's in the running today. So Velcro closure, zipper pocket, that's as deep as that goes. Now, the only reason this one might not make the cut is because it is, one of the things I want to take is this book on elegant stitches. It's got good diagrams and, ideas and inspiration and so on. Crazy quilt combinations. Remind you of anyone, Caroline? So that will be, that's the biggest thing I have, the biggest and most inflexible thing I have. Sorry if there's glare. Now, I think this was probably intended as a travel type thing. All these clear zipper pockets are, of course, awesome. Another zipper pocket on the outside here. Now, I suppose, if I didn't mind it sticking out, well, that could work. And I guess the nice thing about this is that it's fairly flat. So we shall see. I do have things that are a bit lumpier, so this might not be the answer. So we'll put this aside. I'll put these things aside and I'll show you the other option. And it's this. Now this is a beautiful flocked turquoise and brown velveteen corners, velveteen piping, beautiful handles. This was one of those cosmetic things that I bought years and years and years ago, long before I knew what. Oh, how about some Q-tips, guys? So the advantage here, bigger zipper pocket. Don't think we need Q-tips on this junket. Bigger zipper pocket with about a, I don't know, what is that, 1.5 inch or so cavity there. This was, I'm sure this was for pens or, needles. Well, no, it would have been, no, probably makeup brushes, because let's remember, this was intended for makeup. So there's that. There's this. And I think, like you thought I just started hoarding since I started junk journal stuff. No, I've been hoarding forever. This is pristine. It has never been used. The covering is still in the mirror, for heaven's sake. Which means that if I wanted to put fabric in here, you know, we don't have blush crumbs. Oh, how about dental floss? I'm not sure what that is. That looks like almost like chalk marks or something. And then this side is mesh. I guess if somebody had something, you know, that they were packing that was maybe needed to air dry, you know, like maybe a toothbrush or something like that, maybe that is the reason for there. Now, let's just see if I can give this a quick little wipe. Oh, you know, this package of these Pamper baby wipes was as old as the hills. And of course, I wasn't rotating my stock. So it sat for way too long. But, and I think I told you that I was going to do it. One thing I did do was just put a wee bit of water in the pouch, knowing that you know, these things would absorb it. And that seems to have given, you know, given it a little bit of life. It's like when you add water or something to a dried up ink pad. You know, it's not a permanent or lasting solution, but it does help in the moment. Okay, so I am thinking that this is probably going to be my choice. And I'll show you why I need a bit more bulk. Well, in fact, we'll pack it because, hey, it's time to pack. Okay, now you haven't seen this, but this is the project I prepped and am taking. So I have a wooden spool that is this tall, and I took a piece of muslin, and this is important. So I'll wait while you run and get a piece of paper and a pencil. Of all the snippet rolls that I have done, all the slow stitched covers, this one I feel is the best starting base I have ever created. And I'll tell you why. Now, I left a bit undone here because, of course, it'll either be glued, Velcroed, whatever, to that spool. So I figured there's no point in working right till the end. Maybe I didn't even leave enough space. I don't know. Okay. And this is, let me give you a rough idea of how long this is. My mat is 22 and 7. So this is almost 30 inches. So it's fairly substantial. I do have a couple of needles stuck in there with big eyes. Anyway, okay, so what did I do differently here? Well, I have multiple layers here, but through a lot of pinning and a lot of, well, basically, excuse me, a lot of pinning, I only went over this once, there stitching wise, and you can see my rows are pretty scary, uneven, but I'm not concerned because it is very stable at this point, and it will only get more so as more stitches are added. So this dark part here is brown tulle on a roll, and it had a scalloped edge, kind of different. I wanted so far, this is neutral, and I wanted, but you know, in order for a neutral to work, whether it's in decor or anywhere else, you do need to have a variety of textures and colors, and you need some darks and some lights. So that obviously was my darkest element, but I didn't want it to jump out at me. grosgrain ribbon that works perfectly. So that was one of the top layers. Why can I never remember the name of this stuff? Eyelet, lace. This is almost like a waste product, I think, from some sort of lace. This is that, I think it's kind of, this may be called scrim, I think, or what the British call scrim. So it's nicer than, more tightly woven than cheesecloth. And you see a lot of that used in ethnic garments like saris and so on. This wider cotton crocheted trim. These little medallions that I cut off something I think that Kim had given me when I was in Manitoba. And perhaps that's it. It's just a, kind of a repetition of some of the same elements. That's how you end up with something fairly cohesive. This is a piece of ribbon, wide, satin and grosgrain combined. Oh, this is almost like a lining fabric. Anyway, so I covered the base of the muslin pretty well thoroughly. And then I added more stuff on top. What I've done in the past, which is the slower, more frustrating way, is, do a layer and invisible stitch it on there. Oh, I promised Susie that I would show invisible stitches. You can see that's not entirely invisible. However, in other areas, it is invisible. Like you can't see where I stitched there. The whole point, maybe you can see the teeny weeny little, it's basically a threads width wide right there. Sorry about these fingernails. Mani-pedi appointment is tomorrow. So that's the thing that holds this all together. I could have, but I chose not to. Machine stitches, it would have been done in a fraction of the time, but I didn't want that look. So again, let's just pick a spot. Okay, so right here, we've got this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5, in this few square inches here, 5 different layers. So there is texture, there's depth, there's contrast. And I only did one pass through all of this so far. So if there's any kind of a takeaway from this video, and I hope there's more than just that, but if there's any kind of a takeaway, I hope that you kind of pick up on that. Now, in order to avoid sharp creases, I typically roll things up, and I also started at the end where I had put those needles in. Now, of course, I've been rolling this a fair bit just when it was pinned, but with pins going this way, that's kind of dangerous. I'm past that point. This is perfectly adequate. So let's put this in here. We're packing before your very eyes. Well, we can put the book in as well. Since that was my biggest. Now, because this has been, well, mind you, that maybe is not so smart. I was going to say, because this is a stable little bundle here now, I don't have to worry about, threads getting caught in the zipper. But maybe I'll put this on this side instead. And put this guy in here. Now, way back when, I made myself a needle book. I never did a video about it. I think I'd have a different approach and be a bit smarter now. And I used to have a cord wrapped around here. I like this quilted fabric. But again, I just sort of, you know, winged it. I have Velcro pocket here. I threw in a little seam ripper. This is just, you know, those, what do they call these things that you get in hotel rooms and, you know, a mending kit. So, you know, in case a person ever needed a few inches of white thread or whatever. Now, I guess Velcro is probably not the greatest for loose fibers like that. Some safety pins. I don't think I've ever used them. Now, yesterday I found, well, you'll see I did pack some beads and sequins and stuff. These are beading needles, and I just pinned them on this safety pin so that they don't get lost. Now, if you have watched Roxy, or Rachel at Roxy Creations, you'll know that she actually labels her page so that all her size 14 needles are together. I, of course, you know, have thrifted a lot of this stuff. Don't know the sizes, didn't have the foresight to do that. You can see that I have way more needles than I would ever use. However, it is a good idea to have that because, you know, I might have something that needs an eye that size. Didn't know how to keep these scissors intact, so I used a piece of elastic. This is not beautiful at all. I guess it's functional though, with a snap closure there running through one. I just poked myself. Running through one handle of the scissors. Again, more needles. Is this thread? Oh, I guess it is threaded through that. Now on this side, again, Velcro. Oh, I guess I just pinned this. I have this tiny little hoop. Now, I don't think I've ever used the hoop with slow stitching, but it's there. I added these pins yesterday because they've got flat heads, and who knows, I might need something there. Now, this is a beautiful, obviously, copper-colored, whatchamacallit, needle threader. This is a needle threader. Oh, that's attached with a ball pin, so let's, I don't know how this guy got off there, but let's just attach that as well. If you're interested in making a needle book, I'm sure I could, I wouldn't mind giving this a second try. I have nothing in there right now. This is probably bigger than it needs to be also. So let me know in the comments. If you want me to create a video making a new needle book, then just say so, and I will be thrilled to do so. Now, I have no idea how much time I'm going to spend stitching. Obviously, I do have to be a wee bit social and interact with my traveling companions. There are 6 of us. And, you know, we do have an excursion and meal times and blah, blah, blah. But I took apart, I had to, because of this, I took apart my favorite jeans. So I have these nice soft pieces of denim, and I just sort of straightened them out a bit this morning. And I'm taking these pieces along because I'm thinking if I finish or get as far as I can with the snippet roll, I want to have something else to work on. Like I could just do, you know, daisy stitches or something on here. So maybe let's put it on this side. Under there. Just trying to keep all eventualities. Now, I have this, which I thrifted, and isn't it a beautiful thing? Someone who obviously knew how to do machine stitching. Oh, that's from the inside. So fancy stuff here. And, you know, I would love it more if it was a different color, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? So this is really a bit of a mess, but I'll show you anyway, because, you know, I never protect you guys from the truth. Okay, let's get rid of this. And I think I'll leave this open here so that you can see, you know, the contrast. So you can actually see what I'm showing you. Okay, let's do this in some kind of sequence here. Do I really need to take a packet of needles along? Probably not, but I'm doing it anyway. Now, what I did yesterday was when I had my snippet roll like opened up, I basically I measured out 4 lengths of these different fibers. Now, is 4 lengths enough? You know, if I'm doing a simple couching stitch, then yeah, it probably is plenty. If I do something else with it, it might not be. But again, short of taking my whole house with me, I have to make a decision and hope that it, you know, works out. And obviously, I'm in charge of the project, so I can, in the moment, make the decision that will make the most sense. Now, something like this with these long hairs, I'm not going to put this in a needle, and I'm not going to be dragging it in and out of holes. This is something that would get couched down for some more texture. So I have these guys. You know what? I should probably, well, if I used, not that practical. Maybe I should put fibers in here just so they kind of don't get tangled and whatever. I carded more crochet thread, pearl cotton. I don't know what that is. Pearl cotton, that's really quite fine. I think pearl cotton and pearl cotton in a variety of colors. So you have probably figured out that my accent color is going to be coppery colors. This is probably pearl cotton as well. I don't think I did that, but it's good enough. This is on a plastic thing, so I can't squash it down and make it less bulky. I may end up carding that just to have it flatten out. And can you see how much stuff I'm taking? It doesn't make any sense, really. Here's an old pearl cotton that was in a cardboard spool, so I just crushed that to make it flatter. This is like a variegated thing, and I'm thinking this bit of darker something might go, particularly when I intend to use these as my focal points. Obviously, those would be cut around. What else? This, like I bought at an online auction a while back, and I haven't even shown you that. Maybe too embarrassed. I got so many pieces of balls of yarn and skeins of yarn, and some of it is very, well, in fact, this, I don't know what kind, I mean, Sandy might know stuff like that because, of course, she's the sheep woman. I'll have to show her some of those hanks and see if she can help me identify what it really is. The woman, it was an estate sale, I guess, and the person that I think was, you know, whose stuff they were selling had been a weaver because there was looms and wooden weaving frames and so on. And obviously there was a method to her madness, I presume, because she had a bunch of these balls in different colors, and they're all the same length. So anyway, I'm throwing that in there. That's probably not the best choice, but whatever. I'm not sure where I got this, but it doesn't take up much space. I'm throwing that in there. Now, we know, or I know, that on my sewing machines, I don't think any of my multiple sewing machines, or certainly not the one I actually use, takes metal bobbins. But often when you buy a lot or buy a sewing basket thing, you will get spools. And most women have, are efficient. They've pre-filled a bunch of bobbins. So I'm thinking, rather than taking spools of thread, why don't I just take a few bobbins in related colors? And I've got some instant thread there. So I have one black, a couple white, partial whites, and then that sort of rusty one. I think I'm going to put this on a card. Oh, and this is, I don't know what this is, but, oh, you know what? That might be navy. How can I tell? Let's compare it to the black. Well, mind you, I could leave this in there in case. If it is navy, it could go on the denim, perhaps. And then I just took a few of these little guys, thinking, okay, if I do some stitching on the denim, a couple shades of blue and some of these flower-like colors would probably be a good thing as well. Hey, it looks like I might get everything in there. Got to redo that one. Oh, and here's a white thing as well. I thought I had a spool of metallic copper thread. So far, I haven't found it. I did put together, I have this pill bottle of tiny beads. Here are some coppery ones. Again, I didn't bring everything under the sun. I'm not sure. Kim may have given me this. These cute, these little lockets actually open. So I'll see how that goes. And then I found these. This almost looks like a Tim Holtz type thing. These numbers. So we'll see how far I get with that. I didn't go through any buttons. I just found these but they're shank buttons and they stick up quite a bit. So we'll see. Okay, I showed you everything there. So maybe, okay, let's figure out where this is going. I put that like so. Well, I can put this in the back pocket of this. Okay, maybe we'll put this over here. And hopefully you can see most of what I'm trying to show you. Then I went through my sort of boho stuff. Now, I don't have as many in this colorway as I do in some other things, some other color combinations, but they're small, they're lightweight. I'm thinking I'm taking all of this simply because now, of course, if I would have known what I was doing, it's always good to know what you're doing. I thought this snippet roll was going to be totally neutral. It's challenging to go neutral because, again, you have to get your interest through contrast, texture, and basically, that's it. These two are the same, roughly, or came off the same thing, probably. If I would have known, finally going to do something for your long-awaited copper journal, then it would have been good to have some of these things sewn down early on in the process. But obviously, this couple of ounces of stuff is not going to burden me. I will take it. If I use it, fine. If I don't, I won't. I should probably, though, maybe add another pair of scissors. And then I found this, which, as you can see, is unraveling. It's like a gimp with sequins. So let's add it to this pouch. Sorry, it's just that as I discover things, I realize where they should be. Oh, and I didn't zip this up. Okay, So I am pretty pleased with how compact and yet all together this is. So, okay, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to card this, and I'm going to, this is a size 5, which is fairly thick, but sometimes you want thicker. A size 8 is the thinner variety. Card this. Okay, so is that about 8 times now that I said that I'm going to card this? So I'm going to card this, and I'm going to find another pair of scissors and include those just for the heck of it. So I hope that this has been a wee bit instructive to you. Number one, that we can use what we have. And I have to say, this is a heck of a lot classier and more beautiful than a Ziploc freezer bag. I trust you agree. And it's going to protect my stuff. It's going to, I see a stray bead there. And it is going to, well, I don't know how much, well, I don't think there's really security that we have to worry about. But anyway, we're staying within the country. So, yeah, I think this, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out. Again, you know what? Let me not have to say it. And a pair of scissors. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm trusting that by the time I come back, oh, here's that same ribbon. Oh, and there's part of that ribbon. Put stuff away, woman. Anyway, by the time I get back, I should be able to show you something very close to completion. I didn't bother going through my buttons because, you know, you need so few, and I would end up taking 40 buttons or something and needing 6. So I avoided that. But yeah, I think there are a few takeaways here, including how to do your snippet base. So hopefully you found some value here. I certainly value you, your thumbs up, your comments, and your subscriptions. And when I get back, I will obviously show you what I accomplished. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.